Hello, and thank you for joining us for session number 7 of the Unsung Tales, a one-ring actual campaign for the Happy Jacks RPG Network. To find all the sessions of this game, visit happyjacks.org/unsungtales, and to find all the shows on the Happy Jacks Network, visit happyjacks.org. My name is Kimi. I am your Loremaster for this game. We are having such an amazing time. I love this game so much. This is my favorite day of the week. Just so you know, we are using safety tools. Everyone has an X card in front of them. You can't see it, but it's there. We've also done lines and veils, and we do stars and wishes after every session. Everyone at the table is aware and has access to all of this. And let's go around and let's meet our amazing characters this week. Let's start with Samantha.
Hello, I'm Sam. I play Runa, who is a treasure hunter and sword wielder extraordinaire from Bree. And she likes to smack things with her sword. It's fun.
She does a good job with it.
Also climb things.
Oh my god. Hi everybody, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns, and I play Aerlind of Mithlond, who uses he and they pronouns. If you can't guess by the name, he is an elf, and he likes to read a lot of stuff and try and keep this one from climbing things that they shouldn't climb.
All things are climbable if you believe in yourself.
Don't even need a reason to. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay, and I play Burl, Sausage Brandy-bottom. We both use he, him pronouns. And Burl is a messenger and spear swinger extraordinaire, a Hobbit cannon, as someone from our last session's chat mentioned.
That's delightful. And I am Kadave, playing Hannar, the dwarf of Durin's folk. We are both he/hims, and yeah, super jazzed.
Yeah.
After slogging through fighting the fish monster.
I know.
Already.
That was an awesome fight.
You did a
awesome
great
fight.
job.
I love that.
But anyway, it was a big fish. So, last time on the Unsung Tales, you were all in Numinous, and you went forth with some of the Dunedain Rangers to rescue some of their kinfolk that had gone out to the Hidden Isles on the giant lake that you had been at. Every 4 years, they go out there to fight a giant monster. And for some reason, generally it's like every 4 years, for some reason the monster had awoken early, and so about 2 years early. So they were scrambling to go out and like defeat it and kind of protect the islands of their ancestors and were kind of caught unawares. So a smaller band than usual went out to do so, and they had not returned. You went out with two Dunedain Rangers named Celebrusk and Gastilian, and they helped you plan very well. Like you had a big trap set, you had a lure and everything for this giant monster called the Doom of Nanuil, and it turned out to be like a giant, like from the depths, kind of inspired by the anglerfish from the deep, deep ocean, with like a lure on its head and multiple eyes. It was pretty gross, and it could walk, which is always fun and creepy. And you all had a fantastic combat, some pretty close calls. Sausage. And yeah, you were victorious. So that's where we ended the last session, is right after you had defeated this giant monster. Did I forget anything important?
No.
No? Okay. All right. We're going to pick up right after your victory against this monster of the depths and dark. And so you are standing on the beach. This huge, like 12-foot high carcass is kind of doing what fish do, because like they have real bones, but it's a lot softer, and they're not made to withstand like full gravity. So like this giant carcass is covered with moss, and it's just kind of like laying there, but it's sort of like in this strange smished, that is a very good descriptive term, like just thing, because it's not able to like hold its shape, so it's kind of like sinking into itself, not melting per se, but succumbing to gravity. It looks like Celebrusk He has a little bit of like a scrape on his arm. He's kind of holding it. It's just bleeding a little bit. He doesn't seem to be in any real danger. And Gastelian was working as an archer, so he wasn't directly or hurt or injured in any way. Small reminder, because I didn't do it in my recap, but you had noticed before, I just want to make sure you don't forget, that there were some boats from the other rangers that were pulled up and hidden among the brush to the side.
And a cave.
In a little
And a cave.
cave. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So glad you remember the cave.
Oh, yes.
All right, and there you are.
From out of the brush where Aerlind was also safely away from the fray. He comes running down to the beach. You're all right?
We're alive. I say, leaning on my spear
Oh no.
before I like just topple onto my back. Yeah.
Aerlind is gonna dive down and try and, stop you from fully
Oh,
falling.
it's all right. I think I
Fine.
just need a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was some impressive fighting, Burl.
Oh, you too. That flaming sword, my goodness.
Thank you.
I never get tired of that sight, you know.
It is a fun flaming sword. This thing did not like fire.
No.
And I think like I'm like laying there on my side,
Oh no.
like pulling my armor off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like hard to breathe even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go over and help him. Hannar, do you need a hand?
I'm not going anywhere for a little while. I need to rest. That fish smells really bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, let me
Ah.
help you with that. And Aerlind goes and actually starts picking up pieces of Hannar's.
Yeah, just-
just what's around where Burl is laid out. Just like, let me pick up the pieces of Hannar's shields that was shattered
Oh,
apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I from where I'm lying, kind of just staring at the sky, my head just tilts a little bit and looks around until I make eye contact or at least see where Calibrosk is,
Mhm.
and I call him over to me.
Okay.
Hey, Calibrosk. I point my spear at the fish.
Mhm.
Was that the problem? Or is there another one that we need to deal with?
Oh,
The law forbid that there's another. As far as I know, there's only the one. And you have done an amazing job. We have set traps for this so many times, and the most we could ever do is beat it back. Your work with your spear, Master Hobbit, sticking it so it could not withdraw at the end. That was a master stroke. Well done.
I raise my hand up from the ground,
Yeah.
and then it falls limply again down on my side.
He does the thing where he like reaches down and they do like the
Yeah.
clasping thing. Do you
Oh.
want to be pulled up or no?
No.
Okay.
I just give me a couple of minutes, hours, days.
He like he does it like an embrace them, like a well done.
Sure.
Yeah. You can see already though he's like glancing and what he had gone up. We described last time. There's the beach and then there's like a bank.
Mhm.
Which is
like a
one of
little
the
5-foot bank.
yeah, which is one of the reasons you picked this spot because it would have made it really hard for the fish monster to like climb up the bank there. He was up there looking around and already scouting to try and see if he could find any signs of his people.
Mhm.
and I think I showed them the boats right before the fish emerged.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
And so they are hopefully here unless they're in the stomach of this beast.
I know your people are known for subtlety, but what if we just yell for them?
Absolutely. And he starts shouting, speaking in a few different languages. And what are all of you doing? Are you still laying, Master Dwarf?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can take everything off and I can walk. So I don't think anybody really wants that.
Well, we'll say that you have like the Barbie and Ken built-in underwear type thing. So you
Sure,
have
yeah.
like
No, I know. Yeah,
undergarments,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm not. The game mechanics do not include like, oh, well, you're too you're too encumbered to wear clothing.
okay.
That's not it. But like, I still like. I'm kind of probably just sitting in the same spot in the sand. Like,
Mhm.
okay, just breathe a little while.
Yeah.
Like, if something bad appears from the cave or whatever, he'll push himself up on his axe and be standing there looking a little desperate. But
Where are you at compared to your load rating, just out of curiosity?
I mean, like if I take off my armor and everything,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're
I can
okay.
stand up and move around. Yeah.
Okay.
And just to clarify, we didn't have any wounds last time, so you
Mhm.
are just weary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect.
I was down to 1.
Ooh.
I think Sausage, weren't you too?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down to 1, and
Yeah.
like I would have to get rid of everything to
Yeah.
be able to do anything. So
Okay.
I think I at least want to hold on to my bow
Okay.
and be away from the fighting.
Yeah,
for a while.
absolutely.
Is there any way that we can assist them since we haven't gotten this
Yeah.
far before
Mhm.
down?
What they need is a short rest,
Yeah.
which is generally about half a day, usually around lunch. So, and then you get to recover your strength score and endurance, unless you're wounded, but we're not wounded. So it would be and you can also, oh no, that's fine. This is also when you can spend fellowship points to gain hope. This is one thing I am going to push back on a little bit. I've been like super nice GM, like, oh, okay. Like from now on, to spend hope, you need to do it before you roll.
Yes.
You're not supposed
Yeah.
to do it like after you roll.
Mhm.
So I've been kind of wishy-washy on it and like wanting those like win moments. But I think we're getting comfortable enough with the system to play
Mhm.
as written now. And I want us to start like spending that hope and seeing how that mechanic really engages with all of you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you'd like to sit and like maybe make a meal and like to kind of like rest and like boil some water or whatever you'd want to do, to start, you can't really perform first aid. That you don't need to do a heal roll since nobody is wounded, but just kind of like making a small camp to give them time to rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we do that.
Absolutely. I think I'm also gonna gather some like whatever kind of fragrant vegetation is nearby
Mhm.
and like make a little like firewall around the fish to kind of like stave off
Okay.
the smell of gross
Absolutely.
evil fish monster while we have a nice lunch.
Yeah, perfect. No problem. So Calabresc, you're getting ready and you're like, you both are probably, are you leaning against like the bank, the sitting up part?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, I
you've
think I'll
helped
have
them.
dragged myself there.
Yeah, well, I think your friends.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
there
well,
to help.
sure. Yeah. No, fair.
Your fellowship is for dragging you.
Right,
Come
right.
on. So they've helped you, and you're both like you have as much of what you're comfortable have taking off, sitting around you. You're sitting in the sand with your backs against this kind of sandy bank. It's very comfortable. It's not like rocky. It's like what you'd expect, kind of on the East Coast,
Mhm.
with like a little bit, and then there's like the
Little-
beach grass up
Yeah.
at the top. So you're just getting them into position when you hear some voices that are not the two rangers that you know, like shouting back, and it's echoing from inside the cave.
Oh.
Whoa.
So,
Okay.
And a very tall, powerful looking woman strides out. Strides maybe a little bit of an exception. She's limping out. She has like the bearing as if she was striding forth, but she has what is very obviously a makeshift kind of not cane, but
Crutch.
crutch.
Mhm.
Thank you for the word. Yes,
Sure.
crutch. That she's leaning on, and her leg is messed up. Like she has to be in incredible amounts of pain. It's been dressed as best as you can with like pieces of clothing and things like that. But only because the bandages can you not, like, you're pretty sure there's probably pieces of it that are no longer there that should be there
Oh,
to
no.
stay away from gore. But just like obviously the shape of her leg has been drastically altered, probably assuming
I think a lot of teeth.
fighting this very beast that you have destroyed. She goes and runs up and hugs Calabresc, just like the desperate hug of somebody who's like, "You saved me. Oh, you're here." And there are some other voices from the cave as well, but nobody else is coming out. And they're speaking rapidly, very quickly to each other, and probably a tongue only Aerlind knows. And basically, what you're kind of overhearing is that there's 4 of them still alive. 2 of them are barely alive, and of the 8, 8%. And that she's just kind of giving him a rundown of what it is.
I hear the thing about the to being barely alive, and I look at my companions, fully fathoming how bad that was alone, and I kind of look at all of them. I'll be back. I'm going to go see what I can do.
Yeah, no, go help them out. We'll
Do
be
you-
all right.
Do you need assistance?
We might need a bit, yes.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
And he just gets up and starts running.
And I will follow.
Microphone.
Megovanen, I'm in awe of what you have done. Thank you so much for your assistance. I have so many questions, but I fear there is no time.
I couldn't help it over here. Do you need further aid?
Yes, please. There are 4 of us left. 2 are barely clinging to life. She kind of like looks at her leg. I am the strongest of us and the one who is able to walk. The rest of us, I was able to pull them into the cave so that the monster could not get to us, even though it kept trying. And you can see now that you're up there that like there are parts of what kind of looked like dunes before that have like big kind of marks in it where the fish was coming all the way up, and only because this cave is kind of small, like it was not able to enter. So it was hunting these Dunedain once it took down their numbers sufficiently. I am Kellerwyn, daughter of Kelligod, and I was the leader of this group that was supposed to protect our lands. I am second only to Telebrusk in these areas.
Kellerwyn, we are happy to lend whatever assistance we can to your injured folk.
We've also set the rest of our companions down by the beach with a fire, if you would like a place to rest in the warmth.
Yes, indeed. It's been many days since I've had anything to eat, and since I've had any moment's peace. And she just kind of stares at the giant husk that's laying on the beach, like with kind of a little bit of like an open eye, just like glassy look, like just. But she seems hesitant to even go down to the beach. If it's all right with you, I will show you and introduce you to my companions who are in need of your aid.
Yes.
We are out of all items that would provide any medical assistance of any kind.
We're fresh from the hospitality of your people, so we're happy to help.
She kind of smirks at that a little bit. There are a few who would say such things, although it is truly in the heart of our people to be that way. And she kind of like gestures, but like, go ahead. Like, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Briskly
Yes.
make a beeline for the cave.
Yeah.
Yep.
You enter the cave. It's pretty short. It's probably like 5.5 feet high.
Oh.
Yeah. So most of you are going to be hunching quite a bit. You're still on the beach, but you would be
would've been
very comfortable. in it.
Totally comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, there's exploring it is still an option after you rest up a bit. And you see it's kind of small. It opens up a little bit to be more wide, but not any taller. So this is not an ideal camping place for anyone other than maybe hobbits and maybe dwarves. And you see on the floor that's a little bit sandy. There are 3 Dunedain rangers wrapped in what is left of their cloaks, and you can tell some of their cloaks have been shredded to make bandages. One of them is breathing very shallow, and like his eyes are closed, and you can just kind of, he's just got like a very pale pallor to his face, and you can tell that he's very close to death. The one next to him is a woman, and she has like what's very clearly like a large bandage across, and you can see the blood seeping through it.
Ooh.
And then she's breathing a little bit more deeply, but it's very slow. So it's like almost as if she's like laying and concentrating. You can't tell if she's conscious or not. And then the third is on the other side of the cave, and he has or actually that one will be they them kind of a giant like wrap around their torso as well, and their arm is like attached to it. So you're not quite sure where the body and where the arm ends, but it's all kind of wrapped together to try and keep it as immobile as possible. and they all seem to be. Well, that one seems like to be coming in and out of conscious. And that they were probably the one that was calling out from the cave as well.
Okay.
Oh, by the light of Illuvator.
We are lucky that we came to aid these people.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do.
Yes.
And first things first, I'm gonna start giving people water. They're
Mhm.
probably dehydrated. I do have that healing salve or whatever that
that's right.
Oh yeah.
I forget her name.
Our lovely
But our lovely friend,
From
in
in Creek's Crossing.
Creek's
Yeah.
Crossing,
Yes.
who I bring mushrooms to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make good use of that. Whoever it's going to help the most.
Goody
I think.
Calvin.
Yeah, Goody
Yeah.
Calvin's healing salve.
Okay.
Let's see. I kind of feel like whoever's in the direst need, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that looks
Yeah.
like they're on the edge of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if we can patch that person up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll say that you have at least a little bit more cloth with you than they have, and so you're able to use that and make bandages and stuff if that's what you wish.
Yes.
Mhm.
We're gonna have you do some rolls with that in just a second,
Yep.
but I do
Okay.
want to cut to the beach for a moment. So you're both laying there, kind of against the bank, looking because there's nothing else to see. This giant monster, and then this just scenic, beautiful lake with this strange fog behind it. What are you two thinking about? What are you discussing? What are you doing as you lay there pondering how close you came?
Well, I think after a few minutes, I probably push myself up with my axe
Mm-hmm.
and walk over to the fish monster,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna proceed to cut off the bubble.
Oh, okay.
The lure.
Yeah. So like I'll just
Mm-hmm.
hack it off, and then I'll come back over with a volleyball under my arm and sit back down and just plop it between us, like there.
Okay.
I look at it and I kind of feel a little bit of a wave of nausea because this thing is pretty gross.
Sure.
But then I take a deep breath and I ask you, what do you think we should do with the rest of that thing?
Probably burn it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to just push it back into the lake or
Yeah.
let something else eat it.
That's what I was wondering. Think there is any chance this thing could be used for more dark purposes?
Well, I wouldn't want its foulness to be in the lake still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know from whence it came, but it certainly had the power to be here for generations.
Yeah.
So
Burning it does seem like the thing to do.
but I figure this piece, and he pats it, might be useful.
Oh yeah. Better than a cask full of bone-eating fog.
Yes.
There's a quiet moment passes between us, and then I kind of turn to you again. And I say, "Do the dwarven can sing about things like these?"
No, we at least none in my family have ever.
Mm.
Our dark things are mostly in caves, not in water.
And then I turn back to the cave where everybody walked in, and I turn to you and I think, "You think we need to check up on everyone back there?"
No, if there was something as terrible as this, we'd hear shouting right now.
Yeah, one would think. All right. Well, I suppose we should go about hacking this thing up so we can burn the pieces then, eh?
Yes.
Okay, and grab my spear, hoist myself up.
Yeah, we'll just slowly go to work.
I wrap a scarf around my face and maybe
Yeah.
spread some of those fragrant plants tuck them in there,
Mhm.
and then I just start kind of hacking away with my spear, getting this thing ready to be disposed of.
Yeah. You notice that when you cut off the glowing lure bit, you kind of expected it to be squishy. It's actually not. It actually has the consistency of a stone almost.
Yeah.
Well, I Considering how hard it hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's whatever it is. It's some sort of. It's not that stuff. Someone would have noticed for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Why is this fish omnipotent?
Yes.
It always knows where we are.
Yeah. But it, yeah, it's about the size of a basketball, and it's got this strange kind of opalescent quality to it, almost like a pearl or an opal, something that's developed in water, and yeah, and it's got this strange glow to it. It's much lessened now that the beast is dead, so it's not like literally glowing, but it does have a strange sheen when it catches the light.
Sure. That's, I mean, I'm just curious what it might be useful for down the road.
Yeah. All right. So you're hacking it to bits. You're successful. I'm not gonna make you make any rolls to cut a dead fish. Especially because you're not trying to do it nicely or well.
Yeah.
We're not trying to save parts and
Yeah, you are.
dry monster meat
Ugh.
for the trails or something.
Yes. So we'll say we'll say that this is a little bit in the future because you need 1 hour of rest. So we'll say you've been sitting for about an hour while they've tended to them. So while they went in and they're tending to them, you've rested. So after that hour, you get to recover your strength score and endurance. So after you've recovered that bit of endurance by resting for an hour, you now are able to hack this thing to bits and take that awesome trophy.
Okay. Yeah, that's back to a reasonable amount, and I can hold things.
Excellent.
Like my axe.
Yes.
To be able to cut
Or-
exactly.
Just your own body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so back in the cave, you are tending to these three. Celebrusque is also helping you, and Gastelon is waiting. He's not helping you cut up the thing, but he seems on like high alert. He's still scanning. He is kind of playing guard for you, even though you haven't asked him to do such a thing.
I
So
appreciate it.
he's standing with his bow, not taut, but like low,
Still
like ready.
strong,
Yeah,
yeah.
still strong. The arrows in place, and he's like scanning, and you can tell like he is excellent. He must be an amazing hunter. Like he looks around and catches things that are happening around him like an expert. So in the cave, I'm gonna have you make some heal rolls.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a +1 to your heal rolls that you use your cool ointment from
Okay.
Goody
So
Calvin.
+1 die.
Yes, 1 +
Okay.
1 die.
Sweet.
But you don't have a ton of it, so I'm gonna say you can use it probably twice. So you have to pick which
Okay.
ones. I was about to say 3, and I'm like, that completely defeats the purpose of limiting it if you can use it on all of them.
Yeah.
So 2 of them.
Okay. I'm gonna use it definitely on the guy who's the worst off.
Okay.
And the person that has the like full body slash.
Okay.
and seeing you produce that, I'm actually going to kind of like rub my hands together, and just a little bit of light gathers in my palms, and I'm going to use my peerless skill
Okay.
on the last one, and just kind of like use my elven light that was gifted to me by the Valar,
Yeah.
and kind of also like I'm still gonna try and like actually heal them, but this is like something that he's done many times of just like, let me give you some of the light that was gifted to me.
All right. Awesome. So you go first, and then we'll.
Ooh,
I believe in you.
not great. I'm a little bit short on that one.
Okay.
The first one's a fail.
Okay. You're able to clean it a little bit, but they've been laying here for a couple days,
Yeah.
so you can tell while you're able to clean it out a bit, it's starting to go wrong, and it's starting to get infected. So that there's a that's probably the most dangerous thing to them, other than like what the injury themselves were not life threatening, but now that they have this infection running through their body, that is the.
I have a pitch that we use a fellowship point for this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
certainly.
Agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So that will give one of you a hope point that
Okay.
you can then spend if you want before your next roll.
Okay, I do want to do that. So that gives me an extra dice, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And just heads up, remember all your fellowship points refresh between sessions. So
Okay, that is gonna do it. I didn't get any 6s, but we succeed.
okay, so is this are you working on the same person again, or have you moved on to the next person?
I think because I was working on that the person who was the closest to death,
Mhm.
seeing that they are like even in a worse way than I thought, I'm gonna continue to try and help that person.
Okay, so you're gonna use your salve, both of your salves on this person.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he needs it.
Okay. I'm sorry. What? How much did you succeed by?
I succeeded by I got a 15 and I needed a 12.
Oh, okay, perfect. And any 6s?
No 6s,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So you are able to, and you can, like putting this salve. You have no idea what's in it, but it seems to be working. It
Mhm.
smells like strangely like, kind of sweet, but not in like a gross way. It's sort of like, almost as if someone was baking muffins. So it's kind of an interesting smell like that, but a little bit more earthy.
Okay.
So you can just tell it's like a mix of all these different herbs and maybe some berries and who knows what else in there. And as you kind of pack it on his wounds and rewrap it, you can see that his breathing becomes a little bit less shallow, and the colors just kind of returning to his face just a little bit.
Okay, good.
All right.
So I go to the one in the corner that has their arm like wrapped against their body,
Yeah.
fully immobilized.
Okay.
And I just kind of close my eyes, and this warm glow just kind of enters my hands. And it's not like light per se, but it's just like the little faint outline of stars essentially just fill my hands for just a moment. And I am going to just like ask if it's okay if I touch them and kind of look at it and ask what happened very calmly. I'm assuming this was from the creature.
Yes, and they are kind of like dropping in and out of consciousness a little bit. You can tell that they're grateful, and they absolutely say yes. Like, please, I'd be honored if, and they seem like they're aware of what you're doing and in awe of it. Like they seem very humbled that you would bestow this on them, and as they fade in and out, kind of.
I'm going to. I already have one success for sure, and I definitely do not make it on the roll. There's nothing to speak of there.
Okay.
We're just going to put those away.
Yeah, no problem.
But I do have one success.
Yes, absolutely. So you are, you can just see like there was a tightness as they were fighting the pain, and you can just see them relax, but not in like a bad way, like comfort, and like then that they too, their breathing becomes more regular and stronger. Their color is a little bit better, and they're no longer fading in and out of consciousness. So they start engaging you in like real conversation and thank you profusely, and like it for them it's an almost religious moment. So it's a big deal for them. So as they're seeing this,
And Aerlind also finds their shoulders drop and kind of tension leave after seeing all of their friends horribly injured by this creature. There's a relief because there's not a lot that he could do for Burl and Hannar at the moment, but this was something that he could actually do, and it kind of helped relieve some of the tension and the fear and the anxiety because lives are fragile.
yes.
People are fragile.
Yes. So yes. All right. So all right, we're gonna kind of wrap this up, I think, unless anyone else has anything they really want to do. Did you want to explore the cave, Sausage?
I think I may want to save that for another time.
Okay.
I just do not think I'm in any shape to get into any more danger.
Well, and it's not really like a full cave. This isn't like a
Sure.
dungeon delve. Like it was pretty much all you saw. Pretty much all of it. It went back a little bit farther, but there's not a lot of stuff in there. So they pretty much were. Anything that was in there was probably either destroyed and burned for fire or something like that. If there had been anything in there, it's more of a natural, like cave than something that was carved or as a ruin or
Okay.
anything like that.
Sure.
All right. Then we're gonna kind of storyteller way out of this for a few minutes. So you help load the wounded on their boats. Similar to what you did before, you tie the boats together. So those of you who are able to row are able to pull kind of this caravan of boats that are all tied together back to Anuminus and unload them and help shuttle that. Well, more rangers arrive and they're able to get safely to their encampments with all of you. So I feel like this is a good place. We talked about this beforehand about doing a fellowship phase. So the first part of this is you need to decide how long your fellowship phase is going to last. So it has to be at least a week. Not in real time, like not right now, but like in game time.
I see.
See you on Monday.
Yeah.
3 months. We'll see you all
Yeah. See you there.
later in the spring. Bye.
Yes. You need to decide first off how long it's going to last. And it's kind of this is a little bit easier for us right now because we're in the middle of like late spring, which is a fantastic time to be doing things. So you may not want to take like a whole season off, but you can take up to like a whole season if you'd like to.
Well, we've still got other things to look into.
Mhm.
And so I don't think I would want to take much more than a week. A couple of weeks
Yeah,
at most.
yeah, I would say like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
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 I think 2 weeks.
Would you say 2 weeks?
I would.
Okay.
I've said it before and I'll say it again.
2 weeks. That is a very old joke from a game that is longer ago than I care to say out loud. Where we were playing a game and we were given this huge quest to do, and Dave's character randomly was like, "Oh, no problem. We'll get it done in 2 weeks. We promise." To like this
No, it was
High Lord.
2 days.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That was
no,
2 days.
worse.
That's right. Even worse. I blocked it out. We all just sat there going, "What are you doing?
And the whole rest of the party's like, what?
What?"
And I'm like, nobody else was talking. I got nervous.
In character.
yes.
Absolutely spectacular.
It was amazing, and everything is never dramatic. All right.
I think 2 weeks
So
would
2
give us
weeks?
enough time to regather ourselves.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest,
Maybe find
recuperate.
you a new shield.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have all my notes right here somewhere, and I have to find them. All right. So 2 weeks, and that's right. It was 2 days. Gosh. And the next place we have to decide is where you're going to do this at. It has to be somewhere you've already been. And you get to kind of magic travel there, fast travel, if you would, using video game lingo. And yeah, exactly. Click. And so we don't have to do the whole journey phase where we like roll and go every few hexes.
Well, I think we only have 3 options of places to really go, which would be back to Creek's Crossing, back to the Shire,
Oh,
or
my
back
place,
to Bree.
Yeah.
I think Creek's Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't really spent much time in our ruins
Yeah.
My,
recently.
my only thought about going to Bree instead would be they probably have more facilities to.
Mm-hmm.
Do stuff.
If we're looking to restock and
sure,
repair things.
sure.
Yeah. Creek Crossing is pretty spare.
Yeah,
It
they're
is. But that would also mean longer travel if we wanted to go check out any of the other stuff that.
not. That's true.
know,
when we
that-
get back
that-
on the road,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
I'm
we-
fine either way. Bree's always good.
Yeah.
Cheddar gets to visit cheese.
Now,
so-
just to kind of like this might help you in your decision, which is the only reason I'm interrupting the discourse. So when you're there, you're going to do undertakings, and a couple of the things that you can do, you can gather rumors, you can meet your patron, you can ponder storied and figured maps. I'm going to say that you are not going to be able to do that at Creek's Crossing, as that's what you decide to do as a group. So strength and fellowship, you can obviously do that everywhere. Study magical items. It's also going to be a very limited supply in Creek's Crossing. And write a song, which obviously you can do anywhere. We're doing just a regular fellowship phase, so those are the undertakings you can do during a normal fellowship phase that is not a Yule fellowship phase. So if any of those pique your interest, then you might want to adjust where you're going based on that.
Yeah. I
Mm,
mean, we do have those drawings of the room from the Palantir and things like that we could look at that would also be
Absolutely.
like pondering
Mhm.
ponder
arts,
subjects,
Yeah.
which we already have with us. So if we really wanted to do something like that, there's less of a reason to go
Mhm.
far.
I would make a slight case for Bree because we could use my grandmother's kind of archive basically to do a little
Mhm.
bit of research for the other
Mhm.
mysteries we were going to look into.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah. Yeah. Bree's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a journey back to the other ideas we have to go to, but that's kind of what we're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
Adventure.
We made that journey once. We can do it again.
All right, so you will be heading to Bree. You also, this is when we're supposed to do your update
Ah.
and spend your points. We kind of fubbed that a little bit at the beginning because I was like, we're not doing a fellowship phase yet. I'll read that part in detail later. Oops. So yes, this is where you generally will perform updates from now on. If you have any points that you can spend for either training or your proficiencies, you can spend that now. Your adventure skills or your adventure points are both things you can spend. But please remember you can buy no more than one rank in any skill or combat proficiency at a time. So you can't save it up and be like, I can buy 5 ranks of so and so.
I see.
Does that make? But I think you can spend on different things. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
You just can't be like,
Mhm.
suddenly I'm a 5-star hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be wild.
It'll also be a lot of points.
Right.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is one thing we should kind of keep in mind going forward. We need to do fellowship phases a little bit more regularly.
Yes.
So, which we kind of did a version that's like a narrative. All the
Yeah, we did our
important
mini fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the important narrative beats of a fellowship phase were hit, and we just didn't do any of the mechanical pieces of it. Again,
Kimmy, before we leave the Dunedain,
Mhm.
I think Runa would take some time to speak with Celebresk, and kind of like tell him about like her family's archive and like how they try to like preserve artifacts that they find in various places,
Mhm.
and just offer him that if there is something that he thinks would be worth preserving and having people outside of here study, on the promise that they can come and get it whenever they want, that she would be interested in having something from here for the archive.
Okay, absolutely. His attitude has completely changed to that proposition based on the first interaction you had, where he was very upset at you for touching things.
Yeah.
And he actually seems interested in coming and seeing what you've gathered from other places.
Oh,
as well.
cool. Yeah.
She,
She would be super, super excited to invite him to like come and take a look at like what they have.
yeah, he seems. Sorry, I'll do it in character. I rarely leave the city. It is my sworn duty to protect it. But I am fascinated to see what your family has collected. So much of our knowledge is lost or passed down only through song or stories that we're not sure how much of it is true. If you have artifacts that can give us more insight to our past, that would be phenomenal. I would love that.
We would be happy to share anything we've gathered with you. Like, I know we got off on the wrong foot a little bit, but
He chuckles.
really why my family and I do this is that there are things that are important in the world, and having them grow dust in faraway crumbling castles and caves brings no more knowledge or growth to the world. So taking the things from those places and keeping them safe, or if they are merely expensive, fancy items, using that to help people in need in the world. Those are the things those are good for.
You're wise beyond your years, young treasure hunter.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to help you here. It has been most illuminating.
When he says that to you, he has like the kind of aura of someone who's much, much older than you. Even though it doesn't look like he's that much older than you. Just like when he says, for someone your age, it's like, it could be coming out like the same from someone who's like, from your grandmother. It has the same kind of ring to it of someone who's lived that life and has earned calling you that. But there's not a put down in any way. It's a genuine compliment. There are some items that they aren't available at the moment, but I might send someone for something that you can and your family would be interested in studying.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will let my grandmother know to have our best hospitality ready for you. Although I will warn you, her cooking is not very good.
He kind of does the like, starts to like almost laugh out loud and then kind of catches himself and smirks. Will heed your warning. Thank you. Anything anyone else would like to do before you leave these fine rangers of the north? Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Sure, he talks their ear off, but it's nothing important.
Yeah. So they give you what provisions you need and a boat. Or we'll do 2 boats to go back across the lake. You have a uneventful and, might I say, pleasant sail back across. Not sail, but like go across back the lake. It is tiring because this time you are having to row. But it seems like the wind is at least in your favor, and those of you who spent time on the ocean, even if you don't have a sailboat, the wind pushing just the back of your even small boats helps a lot. You make it back across. Your horses look so happy. They've had a little vacation. They have pushed down their little rope a little bit, and they've eaten a whole bunch of really yummy grass. And they're happy. And ready to go on your adventure.
Yeah.
And so you go to Bree. Where would you like to go? You arrive at the gate. What time of day would you like to arrive at the gate?
I don't think around midday.
Sounds
I think-
lovely.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you all arrived like late afternoon, early evening last time, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
knock on the gate.
Yeah.
What are you carrying that, for a lack of a better term, like crystal, the lure crystal?
I think it's probably just tied to the pony.
Okay.
Just along with all of his other random. Collection
Is
of
it
stuff.
like covered though, or do you have it?
Yeah, well, I'd probably wrap it in something just to make sure it stays nice and doesn't get scratched up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does have this strange kind of like glow you notice at night as you're traveling. Like just a little bit. It's like glow in the dark paint that hasn't gotten quite enough light. Like is
Sure,
it
yeah.
glowing? Is it yeah, it's kind of
I would say Aerlind stays pretty wary of it. Has probably made a bit of a fuss, even if like he's not looked super closely at it. He's just like, it's gonna go on that side of the pony, and I'm gonna go on this side of the pony. We're gonna agree to disagree, Orb.
Sure. But I'm not like taking it out and polishing it nightly or
no.
nothing. Yeah.
Whispering to it in the night.
Yeah, it's just like you look back and I'm just patting it gently as I ride. No, yeah. I think it's just tied up with all the other belongings. Nothing super fancy.
Okay. All right. You arrive midday. You get Runa. You get a very welcome, friendly greeting from. They're just on watch now. They don't, and they've seen you before now too. And so you just get a hey, welcome back as you walk through the gate this time. Where would you like to go?
I think probably straight to your house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been going for a little while. I think we should get a nice meal
Oh, that's
first.
fair. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop at a tavern, get a good meal in.
So that we can go, yummy food
yummy.
when we go to your house.
So at this point, because it will probably determine where you go after you get it. Obviously, food and drink is always allowed first. You need to decide as a group what you will do for your undertakings.
Yeah.
Okay. So the undertakings are listed on the cheat sheet that I gave you, I believe. So you got gather rumors. Okay, it is free for companies with a warden. Receive a rumor from the Loremaster that may prove useful in the company's adventures. You get to meet your patron if you have a company with a messenger, and that's for free. Meet one of the company's friends and allies when spending the fellowship phase in a location where the individual can be found. Your patron has a way of showing up everywhere, so it's always exciting. And if the patron is available for a meeting, you can ponder storied and figured maps. And I love storied and figured maps. That is one of my favorite phrases in anything ever, I've decided. And it's actually from a quote, which is from Tolkien, which is amazing. So this is like old, like ancient maps that are put away, that have history to them, that have been recovered or found. Like the maps themselves, the lands they show are storied, and the maps themselves are storied. So it's like treasure maps and things like that. This is not just I go to the library and I pull out the atlas. Like this is a map that will give you clues to amazing things. Strengthen the fellowship, and that's free for companies with a captain. You may raise your fellowship rating by +1 until the next fellowship phase. Study magical items. Free for companies with a treasure hunter. Still free if you have 2 treasure hunters. And you get to learn the qualities of all marvelous artifacts and wondrous items in the company's possession. And you may also write a song, and that's free for companies with a champion. So compose a lay or a song of victory for combats, a lay for councils, and a walking song for journeys. So these have a mechanical benefit for those specific phases. We haven't done a council yet, but a council is when you get involved with the local, the local happenings and politics in a way that's a little bit more official. So often if you're arrested or things like that, or if there's someone who's on trial and you're wanting to work in their behalf, if you're trying to get something from someone, if you're asking them to give you, like you find out they have an item you need, something like that, that's when we would do a council phase. So they are rarer moments, but they are very important moments also. So what would all of you feel like you'd like to do?
Just to clarify, the things that are listed as you can do this for free if you have that's so we can choose one thing and then still also perform these other things
I think
because
we
we
get
have
one free of the many free options. That
Yeah,
we
you,
get?
well, you all have to agree on one thing.
Yeah.
You all
Okay.
get one thing. You don't. The note I sent in Slack was incorrect. You all have to agree on one thing that is going to be your focus. Obviously, narratively, you can also go get like your armor fixed and visit grandma and not eat her food and all those things.
Right.
But this is the one official
Mechanical
undertaking
thing.
you are taking mechanical.
And then we get a free one, though, I believe, still. Like, of the free ones, but I think we only get one.
Oh, I see. Yes.
So we
okay.
can either do the messenger thing, the captain thing, or the treasure hunter thing for free.
Let me look that up. My notes say the company chooses a single regular undertaking.
And
so-
these would be the not regular undertaking is the...
Yeah, the Yule undertakings are separate. You cannot do the Yule ones.
No, yeah.
Well,
There's a free...
Just the way they're described as free that indicates
Yes.
to me that we
Yeah.
could possibly do one in addition.
yeah. So we get to do 2 undertakings this fellowship, then, right? We get to
The
do.
company is entitled to choose one additional free undertaking based on the callings. Yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
you pick
Okay.
one
And
of
then
any type,
and then
and then
one from the free.
Yeah, and then one for a free. Yes.
Gotcha.
It's a
Okay.
bonus undertaking that you
Got
get
it.
based on your job. It's like me having summer break off. It's a
Mhm.
bonus undertaking for my job. I also don't get paid, but nobody ever brings that part up.
So... Ooh.
Well, I think one of the things we should do is perhaps ponder the maps and the drawings combo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also
know.
super interested in what your weird fish lure is.
I am too. The second thing I was going to
Study
say is maybe
magic
the study
items.
the magic item
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing and see what its deal is. But I'm totally open if anybody has any other case to make. I'm not.
Especially if, like, it were actually mentioned to Aerlind that we would actually be studying maps. I don't think you could stop him. And we'll probably end up doing that even if this is not our undertaking.
I think that's definitely a worthy undertaking.
Yeah.
Especially if we can tie some of our sketches and rubbings into the map, into what possible future undertakings we might want.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like, I don't really think we need to gather rumors because we already have a docket
So many.
of things to do.
Right.
So,
And also, I think that like the further away we get as we've traveled and things like that, I think that the concern, and Aerlind has of course voiced this repeatedly, that this was a creature of very old, that is older than any of us, that is older than most of Aerlind's kin, that shouldn't be here, and this growing darkness is something worth looking into.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Those
That would be the way
sound
to
good.
do it.
So ponder story.
Do we want to discuss this in
Yes.
character?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the best course of action for our discoveries, given that this was a creature much older than I think even most of my kind choose to believe still walk the world, is to look at what we have, study, learn our enemy.
I'd like to know if it could be of use.
There's that.
Perhaps we could use it to detect other sources of darkness or link it to some way to, help us in the future. Rather than just smash us down.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
That beast Aaron was talking about in the Dwarven mines. I mean, after seeing this thing at the lake, I would like to learn a little more about it if we can before walking into that kind of situation again.
I think
I
that
don't
would be
disagree.
wise. If it's anything like we experienced in the lake,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be prepared.
I'm wondering if your family collection has anything different than what I've read, or perhaps what Hannar's people have recorded from the area as well.
We can absolutely check. I think any maps or personal accounts or artifacts we can, cross-reference to see what we can figure out would be helpful.
Something I'd be honored to do altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to eat my grandmother's cooking again.
I pretend very well.
How delightful.
Maybe we should all get a meal first before we head over to your place.
I think that would be wise. A few polite bites is all it will take to keep her happy, but we should get in a real meal first.
In addition, I think I'd like to bundle up a package with the ornate vine carving that I took, and box it up and send it back home.
Okay.
Here's this example of amazing craftsmanship
Mhm.
in stone that is something that we don't do. Have at it. Analyze it, see what you want to do. Like, if it improves the art as a general thing, I think that would be wonderful.
Awesome. Perfect. Absolutely. All right. So you're heading to grandmother's house. We go.
Mhm.
Okay.
After a nice visit to a tavern with good food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hot
Yep.
bread, cold beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Very good. And so yeah, you go to the Prancing Pony, have a very nice kind of visit, and you fill your bellies as much as you can, with the exception maybe of Hannar.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to...
Okay. Well, no, yeah, but I mean, you might. Everyone else is doing it for the reason that they want to
Yes.
be
able
full.
to yeah.
Even if they do the thing where you push the peas around so it looks like you ate a big chunk of them rather than yeah. I have a toddler. I know these things.
Mhm.
And but so you fill yourselves. Just a great, lovely, especially after kind of the darkness you've seen on the road, being back in a place that is familiar and warm and mundane, but not in the provincial way that
Mhm.
Creek's Crossing is. Just a place that shows how alive the world is. Like merchants and people with money and people without money and friends drinking who drink here every night and friends drinking who haven't seen each other in years.
Mhm.
Like this ruckus in a pretty large, town that just kind of invigorates you and kind of reminds you what life is again. And that there is darkness, but there's also wonderful things too, and there's a reason for fighting the darkness. So in this part, you also get to make sure that you there you go. You get your hope score and heart back.
Awesome.
And I'm assuming we can refresh our endurance over this whole period as well.
Yes. So we'll just say your endurance is back up because we've done the magic travel. You've had many like full nights of rest and things like that. So you're back up.
Awesome.
So yeah, so recover your hope equal to heart. And none of you have any shadow yet, so we don't have to mess with that.
It was a close thing a couple of times.
Yeah. Oof.
All right, so you arrive, and just kind of like specifically, like kind of out of character, describe to me, like why you chose the undertaking and specifically what you're looking to get.
I think because Aerlind was, rambling on and on as we traveled about specifically Morgoth and the weight of shadow, and that probably mentioned quite a few times at this point that the elves believe that evil is gone, and that it's something that has kind of stuck out in his mind. And there is, in our mixed groups of knowledge and things like that, possible answers to where all this darkness is coming from. And so studying what Hannar can bring, what the hobbits know, what the people of Bree and adventurers know, and like all of my elven knowledge all mixed together, hoping to maybe find something about why all of this darkness is rising.
Okay. How many of you had your characters, not you, heard of Morgoth before? Just FYI, the thing you would have been told is so Sauron is the ultimate evil. Morgoth is his boss, who is even worse in ages before. So he was actually one of the Valar, the gods, that turned evil. Next to him, Sauron is like a small speck comparison servant to him. So Sauron and the darkness is probably something that, like, definitely the dwarves. I don't know about the hobbits.
I mean,
probably some stories, but you weren't
just,
really
like,
involved.
Cautionary tales and like scary stories to
maybe
keep
a
kids
little
in
bit
line.
with Sauron.
Yeah.
And then the Bardlings, probably some, especially with King Bard having some noble lineage, and Smaug the dragon was definitely one of like the agents of the darkness in the olden days. So how much of it is super accurate and how much of it is passed down as stories to like you said, to frighten children, and people forgot bits as they were telling it and things like that. It's like playing telephone over the centuries, but you have some touch of it. So this is probably a little bit unsettling to know, or like actual facts from someone who old enough to not have been with Morgoth, but have like known and lived during a time where the direct his evil was still influencing the world, if only by his agents. So he was like the main evil, bunch of evil. Sauron was like his captain, and so there was still that like kind of line and influence, sort of like an infection that can't be completely cured because there's still bits of it around.
And I legitimately don't know the answer to this, out of character. During the whole elf human war against the forces of Sauron the first time.
Hmm.
What was up with the dwarves?
They fought as well. Some of them.
So, okay.
Yeah, so it sort of depends specifically which group of dwarves were there. A lot of the times the dwarves kept to themselves. The dwarves did actually fight a lot in the first war against Morgoth, the
Oh, okay.
really big bad. So they and some of them were fairly reticent to again. And by the time the forces kind of came to the last alliance, it was sort of the big last hurrah. Like it was do or die time. It looked like everything was going to fail and Sauron was going to be victorious. So there were some groups that were like, oh, if we stay in our mountains, maybe we'll.
They'll just leave us alone.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they're also fighting things that were deeper in the earth as well that the people above did not care about.
Sure, sure.
So the darkness was bringing things out.
We have
and,
our own problems down here.
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly, but Sauron did send forces specifically to take care of the dwarves during that particular age as well. So
Gotcha.
while some were there, others weren't. Everybody always focuses on the elves and humans. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Which no. And that's why I was like, I
Yeah.
don't actually. No.
Which is causes some animosity sometimes. All right. Any other lore questions? Most of it's stories, so it's not going to totally be applicable here, but
Well, no, and like I don't plan for Hannar to suddenly go, oh,
no.
you know.
But and it's an important question.
But
and,
yeah.
From a very important culture from this world.
So I think he probably knows more about like the Morgoth lore. That's probably what's talked about more. And then, look, we've spent hundreds of years dealing with all of the garbage down below that is still here. They did things up here too, but obviously ours was worse.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, so you head over to you don't have to roll or anything for the undertaking, so okay, cool. So you head over to Grandma's house. I'm trying to think if we gave it like a name.
She has a name, which I obviously forget.
She has a
But
name.
I don't think the house has a name.
Okay.
It could. We do seem like the family that would name our
You
house.
should
You
totally
do.
name the house.
Let's see. My notes. There's so many names.
I know.
So many
They're everywhere.
names. Bree. Ingrid of Bree is your grandmother.
Yes. Okay.
And Valdis of Bree is your mother. She was out of town last time, but it's possible she'll be there as well.
Okay.
And chat suggests we call it Grandma's house. House.
Ah.
We're not doing that.
No.
I'm X-carding that for tone. So yeah, so Ingrid is the grandmother, Valdis is the mother. Anything? And you knock on the door. Do you have a knocker?
Oh yeah, it's got like a ornate, like metal knocker that has like a face with filigree.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
So
Makes a nice ominous sound.
yeah. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And Valdis actually opens the door. So you probably, I don't know if any of you have met. Have you any of you met Runa's mother before? She's still like an fairly active adventurer. She's technically retired, and Runa's technically taken over the family business. But she's retired in the way my mom is retired, where she, instead of actually just doing things she wants, has procured a number of volunteering jobs that she doesn't get paid for. So this is the same sort of thing where Valdis is going around and doing things and helping people, and helping with monster problems, trying to help people with ruins that they can't get into, things like that. Just without the actual income that comes with it often.
Mm-hmm.
So have any of you met her before?
I think I probably have.
Yeah, I think I probably have just coming through
Okay.
I go visit everybody probably a little bit too much.
Yes. What do you think, Sausage?
Yeah, I think we've met.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've been around often enough that
Probably,
I've
like,
at least
you
run
probably
into.
spent more time with Ingrid because
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
there more, but
Yeah.
met Valdez in passing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've probably met her more not here,
Yeah.
like
okay.
out on the road,
Mhm.
traveling around from town to town. It was like, oh hey,
Like unsuspecting, you're riding along in your pony, and you just like from like ridiculously far away. How the voice just seems to magically carry. It's just amazing how she does that. Just the most amazing diaphragm. Anyone to yell.
And to sing.
Yeah, and to sing. And she does have like a good, strong, like kind of deep, like alto voice. None of like she doesn't do well with like soft songs, but if you ever need a ballad of a hero sung, just like her whole heart into it. Holds pitch pretty well. Doesn't hit the high notes super well, but it's like it kind of gets that earthy like of the earth kind of sound that everyone really wants to get in their like Irish music, kind of like that gravelly sound that like breaks your heart when they sing sad songs.
smoking whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. But somehow just manages to tap into like that emotional elements, like kind of like a Johnny Cash type thing, where it's
Love
just
it.
like
Your mom's Johnny Cash.
yeah, not quite that amazing, but like that same sort of like when she sings or when she talks, she has that voice that just has the like experience
Mm.
and just comes with the lessons of life imprinted on it. And as I described her before, she has long, what used to be red hair. Like there's still like kind of like some reddish parts of it. It's going gray. It's kind of a mix, which makes it like a much lighter kind of reddish color. Looks very similar to Runa, but just a little bit older.
It's like looking into my future.
Yeah. Runa! And she's just gonna like throw her arms around you.
And Runa returns the hug with just as much vigor.
Yeah.
Like if they were like smaller, more frail people, they would crush each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, she's got like muscles. Like she's like a very in shape person. She is not like letting herself relax into retirement in any way. She probably can still, match you a pace to climb up a cliff. Like
I'm sure.
she's still there, or at least in her own mind.
Yeah.
She may not ever actually try that. Welcome, friends. Oh, you are just in time. Mama's just finished dinner.
Oh.
Oh, good. We've just come off a long journey. We did have a late lunch, but I'm sure we've got a little bit of room.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be fine. We'll just leave it on the counter. It'll be a little bit like room temperature. It'll be even better that way. Come on in.
I'm surprised to find you here.
Yes, I'm surprised to find me here too. I actually just got back a few days ago, and I was helping a township. A farmer had found a cave in his land while he was trying to build a new building. He was pulling out some of the stone and found a deep cave. Had a few trinkets in there. Nothing too worthwhile, but he's able to sell his farm and move, so that was exciting for him.
Awesome.
Yes. Nobody's needs to buy a farm, right?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
No. All right. He asked me if I wanted it. I tried not to laugh in his face. I failed. I laughed in his face.
You a farmer?
Right. Can you imagine? Oh, it's very, very kind gesture.
That's cute.
Though. Yes, it's very, very cute. So come in. So what are you doing in Bree?
Well, we need to restock, repair some things. We fought a giant fish monster.
Really?
Yes.
How giant is giant?
It was big.
Taller than Runa.
Big as a house.
Big as a house. Well, now. Like, it must be 20 feet tall.
Easily. It had three pairs of eyes. And then one of those dangling ones in the front.
Hannar, show our gracious hostess.
It had a crystal ball?
That was
Yes.
attached to its head from a long tendril.
Now imagine taking that thing and swinging it at someone like a flail.
Indeed, it used it.
May I?
Certainly.
She picks it up and then she starts swinging it like she was imagining using it as a flail.
It is
Oh.
quite solid, I assure you.
It's strangely light, but very solid. This would hurt with any
Yes.
force. But yes.
Indeed.
Wow. Well done. It's strange, though. Kind of glows.
It is
Yeah.
a little strange. We
Hmm.
are going to take some time to study it.
Yes, we should. And she turns around and starts walking.
Wait.
Oh.
That's Hannar's.
Oh. My apologies.
Dinner first. Dinner first.
Yeah, yes, of course.
And we met some Dunedain rangers and
Oh.
a ghost.
We did meet a ghost.
A ghost. Goodness. Like, a good ghost? Did you kill it? Well, I guess
Well,
you can't kill a ghost, but you know what I mean. Vanquish it.
she was very nice. She actually gave us a song.
Oh, a song.
A song of her people.
Oh, good. Was it a nice song? Is it sad?
A bit sad,
I'll kind of hum a few
but
bars
very pretty.
Oh,
of the song.
that is lovely. That's strange. I feel like I've heard that before. Can't think of it, but goodness. Well, that's nice. Most of the ghosts I meet are trying to kill me, so I guess I've never met one that gave me a song.
She was very kind.
Lovely.
The High Lady of Numenor.
Oh, that kind of like brings her down from like her just like
Mm.
boisterous
Mm-hmm.
ghost of Numenor. Goodness, where were you?
Numenos.
Well, we should sit down to dinner so you can tell me more. This is fascinating. So sit down.
Recount the tale.
I very specifically like pull up a seat next to her,
Okay.
and I like gonna puff my chest up and start, like telling the
Oh, yeah.
story.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's wrapped with attention. Suddenly, like the mention of Numinous and Numenor and ghosts from this period, it like captures her like interest in a way where she suddenly is letting everyone else do the talking in the conversation, which is not her general mode. And you pass the meal describing everything that happened and the events, and she asks many questions, and it's lovely. She tells you a little bit of the other things she's been doing just to kind of catch you up. And then at the end of the meal, by then I'm gonna say, because you went to you showed up about midday.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up at the tavern. You spent a few hours there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Then you
Telling
came
stories
here.
too.
Yeah, it's probably at least evening now. Probably not too far past dusk, but it's like probably into the solid evening now by 7 or so. So she goes and she starts to help Ingrid, your grandmother, like clean and put things away after the meal. And they bring out a bottle of wine and a jug of something else that is beer.
Wait, her grandmother brews as well?
Hold on, yeah.
Well,
She
they
picked up a hobby.
Yeah, she doesn't brew, but it tastes like beer. The things that they always have to drink are actually very high quality.
Mm.
So this is a beer, but it's got this strange taste that you're not used to, especially in brie. It's got this a little bit of a flowery note, but also something that's
It's an
more.
IPA, an Isengard Pale Ale.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Tom. Back to Tom.
That was funny though. I appreciate it, even though we're not keeping it. Yeah. So yeah, it's just got like this it's like so beer is sort of like drinking bread for good beer, and so I kind of describing it as like it's got some floral tones and also just like it sort of smells a little bit like. What did you type? The label is the label is just like a white handprint. I'm sure this exists somewhere.
It should if it doesn't.
Yeah, if it doesn't, it should.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Remarkable.
But it's sort of it's interesting. The smell of it kind of reminds you of the ointments that you got from Goody Calvin.
Okay.
So it may just be a coincidence. It may just be similar herbs that are in this part of the world, but it just kind of for a moment gives you kind of that like caring and kind of like healthful vibes.
Okay. Awesome.
So they break out the drink and then they're kind of off cleaning. So the four of you are left alone at the table.
That was better. The food.
A little bit, yeah.
It's the salt.
It's the salt.
Next time I pass through somewhere with pepper, it'll be great.
Oh,
Yeah,
The beer certainly helped.
yes.
that's true. And the wine is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Always.
So, we're going to rest then and regroup, gather our things.
I think take a look at some maps and documents with fresh eyes
Mm.
in the morning.
I think I'm going to spend quite a bit of time in your family's library.
Please, my grandmother would be so elated.
I think I have some work to do given how frequently I've gotten us lost.
I will apologize in advance for her organizational system.
I'm aware. At least it's not in color order any longer.
No. But she has ordered it according to her favorites.
I'll find something.
It begins with things that make her happy and ends with sad.
I'll start at the sad end.
That's probably the most useful for us
Yes.
at this point.
And what will you be doing? Besides,
I have a few
Maps
things
and
to
things.
catalog into the
Hmm.
archive. And then after that, I think taking a look through my family's accounts of adventures to see if they've encountered anything like this beast that was described to us. If I can get more information on it, maybe we can form some tactics before we go. I would like not to go in quite as blind as we did to the lake.
Indeed.
what have you, Master Hobbit?
Oh, well, I've got some people that I'd like to catch up with here in Bree. But yeah, I certainly want to look into other nasty things that we might have to be prepared to deal with. I didn't realize that the darkness would be quite so big and hard-hitting. And if these things are awakening, ahead of schedule at least, I would certainly like to find out what else there might be stirring in the ground or in the waters of our lands.
A darkness as tall as the sky.
Ooh, I shiver at that.
May it never come again. And what
At
of
least-
deep in the earth?
Yeah.
I think I shall take this lure and visit some of the skilled artisans in town and see if they know anything of this material or what it could be used for. I'll start with that.
Please let us know if we can help in your endeavor.
No, indeed. Perhaps once I have some more knowledge of what this may be, then we can reference in the library as well. It's hard to just look up
Fishbowl.
Fish.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
You'll only come up with one of my grandmother's worst recipes.
I think the only way to cure this darkness is some music.
Me agree.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Should we have a song before we retire?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think we've rightfully properly sung about what we done.
That's true. Seems like a thing that deserves a song.
Maybe a little bit of practice tonight and then a performance before we leave town.
It could be fun.
The band is in town after all.
Oh.
All right, so you are writing a song, or are you
No,
just writing?
yeah, we're just singing.
That's just
Yeah,
role-playing.
yeah, yeah.
Mechanically, no.
Mechanically, no. Are we? Yes.
So I am totally fine with you having narrative songs as much as you want, and you don't need to like mess with that. And I'm gonna have sausage. I'm gonna have you roll song for us.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's see. That is favorite, and I have 2 ranks. in that.
Yeah.
So,
Possibly would be why I picked you to roll for it, everybody.
I'm gonna burn a hope point in that since we restored some. You know what? Just because. Okay, that's really. I have a great success.
Fantastic. So yeah, as you are playing, you're able to, and you're writing a song about your battle with the monster, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to weave together like the perfect rhymes. Like
Mhm.
it just seems to flow perfectly easy. You get this tone to the song that sort of, you probably don't realize it, but if someone else was listening, it would kind of reflect like the lapping of water on the lake.
Mm.
And it's kind of ties in this like kind of rhythmic beat of like what would be the waters, and just subconsciously there are parts where you have similar notes to the melody
Mm.
of the song from the ghost.
Awesome.
So
Play a
it's
little
sort of,
consciously.
yeah,
You know
just
what?
like kind of weaving it in there.
I include a lyric about how not all sources of light
Mhm.
bring light to the darkness because of that lure,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm.
being lit and kind of having to be vigilant about what looks like light but is in truth something that comes from places much, much worse.
So so that you wish that the light may endure. Sometimes in darkness, fell light can be a lure. And so is
Wow.
what goes
Hey.
around.
Oh,
Hey.
good lord. Inspiration.
I have a band. So similar to that. So
Mhm,
kind of about how everyone speaks of the light, but sometimes when you're in the dark, sometimes you're so willing to go after what seems like light, it
Right.
can actually lead you into danger.
Mm-hmm,
So to be wise about what you follow for the light.
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I can write that song.
Yep.
And yeah, perfect. And then so you have a lovely evening playing music, writing this song, and then taking your rest. And you get up early the next morning. What would you like to do?
I think Aerlind wakes up the next morning in full scholar mode. Is just like, I'm now in my element again. There's no more horrible fish, and I'm going to go read books. And that's pretty much most of his plan, to be very clear.
I'm going to find pieces of paper and maybe some like pencils or charcoal pencils or something. I'm going to start sketching everything that I can remember from our adventure, just as best as I can, like from memory, especially that fish. I'm going to like start drawing pictures of the fish as best I can. I'm not great, but you know, details of the mouth, details of the eyes, the fins, the lure, just as much as I can, you know, set down.
Absolutely. Hannar. Very quiet.
Well, I think I'd wait until business hours, and then head off into town and start the first sort of craftsman shop, maybe like a gem cutter, that to start there and bring it in and say, do you know what this material is like? It looks pearlescent, but
Mm-hmm.
can it be used for such? I mean, obviously it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It would make a hell of an earring. But if it's maybe someone that could do a hardness test
Mm-hmm.
on it, if they have the right tools, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, let me see. And they take it, and like they do some like little scrapes of it and things like that. It's so strange. It's the same consistency as a pearl, but it's somewhat opaque, and it glows a little. I would not recommend you ask someone to try and cut it in any way like a gem. I don't think it would withstand. You might be able to split it in twain, but you would not be able to fashion it into any sort of prism. Nor does it
Okay.
seem quite clear enough to do such. Where does the light come from?
The origin of this piece is from a magical place that has much storied lore to it.
He quickly hands it back to you.
Yes, I know. I don't believe it is any danger or it has any particular properties that are going to do anything like that, but I wanted to know more about the physicality of it, which was your expertise.
Okay. Yes, I think it's fine. You should be fine carrying it as you
Yeah.
go.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your help.
Yes, of course. If you have any actual gems, bring them back.
Oh,
But that might be better off being taken to, I don't know, a wise woman or someone who with more knowledge of magical things than I.
absolutely. I intend to ask the very next one I come across.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps you can find a wizard. Yes.
One never knows, right?
I mean, that one with the, where's the gray, what is his name? But he comes through every once in a while. Everyone blathers about his fireworks. Shire folk get the most of them, it seems.
Perhaps. And I probably tuck it back under my arm
Yeah.
and head out.
Mhm.
While I'm out, I specifically would like to go and find a craftsman that could make a new shield, and then specifically a pair of new helms.
Okay.
As you're heading out, like a hobbit and their family walks in and
No.
says, "Confectioner, your finest candies, please."
Okay. He looks very confused.
Those remember the rock
Joke
candy,
with
the
the
dwarven
rock candy, yes.
I do remember.
Yes.
I just was like, I think Hannar had a moment in character of being like, did I just bring this to the candy shop?
This is why he didn't understand.
And no wonder they're very confused. But glowing candy would be worth something.
Oh, hey.
All right, yeah, so you're able to do that. So you're able to get I mean, Bree is kind of the biggest city of like humans around. If you were to travel to the Dwarf mines or specifically to like Mithlond or Rivendell, you could probably find a better smith, but this is going to be like the highest quality you can get for quite some
Sure.
ways.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to do just about anything. Maybe not up to dwarven standards,
No.
but it's
We'll make
serviceable
do,
and
yeah.
it looks nice. It's not embarrassing. Like you wouldn't be embarrassed to wear this home.
Sure.
And they even do like some designs. So if you wanted something specific on there, you can pay for such if you'd like.
I'd probably have them put the loops in the back of the shield so I could put my...
Okay.
but they're just leather because they're humans. They're not going to know how to make locking cogs. But it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And so you have now 2 helms.
Yes. And then I head back to the house, I
Okay.
think.
And we'll just, for mechanics' sake, use the same stats as your previous set.
Yeah.
What
I
is
didn't
the-
have any magical stuff to
No,
it.
no, no. But what is the one thing about this shield that just keeps reminding you that it's not your other shield?
I think it's probably proportionality. Like, it's just slightly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wearing it on my arm, if I move my arm quickly, I keep nicking my knee, like the outside of my knee a little bit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's going to take a while to, like, change the muscle memory
Yeah.
kind of thing. But,
Okay.
yeah, it's just slightly too long and a little bit too narrow kind
Mm-hmm.
of design.
All right.
While in the library, Aerlind has set up shop, taken out all of their notebooks and all of their good inks and quills and all of the nice paper and everything is all laid out, and all of the books that he's managed to pull off of the
Mhm.
wall and make any kind of sense whatsoever of the books that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And has started to make notes, but then got distracted and was looking through books of their own. And while we are there, I'm actually going to spend a lot of time studying Elven maps in particular,
Okay.
because I'm going to up my valor and gain an Elven ability that is attached to that.
Okay.
Up my wisdom, the other one. And we'll be spending the time to. I just had it open. It is called Memory of Ancient Days.
Ooh.
And it will give us favored rolls on our journey rolls
Nice.
anytime that I am involved in the journey roll.
Excellent.
Nice.
I will make a note of that for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, is this counting as your ponder stories and figured maps as well?
This is just my leveling up, and I'll be doing it's all of those things. It's just kind of all rolled in. Everything that I picked was all kind of rolled into the same thought.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. That's a very, very nice addition to everyone's game. Thank you, mechanically.
Again, he felt very bad about being very bad at traveling.
Yeah.
It's like, I could just do this, but I think when he's on his own, he just wanders.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be good at it. So when he's with other people and there's suddenly like horses and a bunch of other, he's very bad at it.
It doesn't matter if you get distracted and go the wrong way when you're all by yourself.
Yeah, and he's literally out for a wander, so
Yeah.
it doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh wait, people need to go places on time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like when you're at a store and they're like, "Did you find everything okay?" And you're like, "I didn't come in looking for anything in particular, but I bought $300 worth of groceries."
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I feel, yes, I found everything.
Yes.
And that's him in
Yeah.
all of the world.
Absolutely. All right. Now, sausage.
You know what? I'm going to say that as the days sort of pass, the ache of being slammed by this thing's lure, I still feel it. You know, it's going to take me a little while to recover from the bruises, and so I go over and I get my shield reinforced. I'm going to spend 8 adventure points to add that quality to it. So I'm going to make Scutcheon an even better shield.
Okay.
Which will increase my parry rating by 1. And then every once in a while, like, you know, as I kind of go in, you know, come and go about Bree, catching up on, you know, the local town guard and whatchamacallit, having Cheese visit his sister, I'll kind of peek my head into the library and see how you're doing. And I'll kind of just check in, like, is there anything I could help you look up or anything? You know, did you find anything interesting? Any other readings about these things of shadow?
As I've started, I've begun to honestly delve into parts of my own people's history that I have not done much reading on. The elves that traveled farther north were not something that my people have concerned themselves very much with, if I'm honest. I don't know. There's a lot of politics among the elves and how much of that is trickled out into the wider world, but my people have mostly stayed at the sea for as long as we've been here, with very little exception. So the wider world is a wonder, and I'm both happy and sad to know that your people didn't hear much of the war before, but I'm curious what stories have made it.
Uh, Everything that I've heard, they've just been superstitions, fairy tales, scary stories told around a campfire to elicit a gasp of wonder from those who are willing to listen. I don't think my stories are going to be of much help. The things we hobbits worry about are definitely not horrible things like that we faced.
Well, I take it as another part of the hope of your people that you
Mhm.
don't tell stories of the darkest of days.
It's to hope that I keep that it's going to stay away from the Shire.
I'll do
But-
my best to help you keep that hope.
Well, that'll be on all of us now, won't it?
Sausage, is it troubling to you that what comes off as hope to other groups in Middle Earth might be you're starting to realize based on ignorance?
Yeah. Oh, very
Okay.
much so. Very much so. That has been weighing on me. Again, like every time, every time I'm in the bath and I kind of like see the bruise on my
Mhm.
side, and like I've never seen a hobbit with anything that bad on them,
Mm-hmm.
and then thinking back to the Dunedain and how horribly mangled they were. Like I've never seen a hobbit that badly hurt,
Right.
And yes, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely weighs on me.
Have you ever, because the hobbits are one of the newer kind of species
Mhm.
in Middle Earth, as far as kind of their recognition of the
Mhm.
peoples of Middle Earth, have you ever really considered, and maybe Sausage has because he's a little adventurous
Yeah.
for a hobbit, considered like the ancient, like these incredible civilizations that have been completely lost, and like what you saw in Numinous and what know now because of the lady and things like that. Has that ever been something that you'd really pondered before?
I think I have. I mean, I've traveled with the Fellowship
Mm-hmm.
enough that I've seen a few things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you know what? I think one night I am, kind of in a mood, a little bit of a solemn kind of introspective mood.
Mhm.
I'll step out to the porch, and I'll find Valdis there, and I'll offer like a little bit of a smoke to share, like, a little bit of my pipe. And I'll kind of, without being prompted, I'll just tell her, or I'll say,
You mentioned seeing ghosts before. This was my first time seeing a spirit like that. And it was certainly my first time fighting something bigger than a deer. I've seen things, probably not as much as you or Runa have, but they've always been things of stone, made by someone's hand, even, older than me or any of my hobbit kin can comprehend. But they've always been stone. They've always been unliving, just there. This was closer to the living world than I've ever seen. And I don't quite know how I feel about that.
She's quiet for a moment and smokes the pipe as well, and then she pulls out like a flask and takes a swig and hands it to you.
I take a swig. I take a couple of swigs,
Yes.
actually.
That's the very obvious intent. She's not expecting you to pass it back to her. My family has chosen for generations to seek the darkness, to delve into it, see what we can test our mettle against. Some of us come out all right. More of us have many scars to show for it, both on our hearts and on our bodies. There's something disturbing when you see a living darkness that has intent. this is one thing with stories. It's stories, they always are just evil or greedy. But when you're face to face with something that has such darkness and malice in its being, that it doesn't just want to eat you, it doesn't just want to kill you. It wants to corrupt you. It wants to enjoy the act of it. You can never completely steel your heart against such things.
I take several more swigs after that.
All I can say is that with time, it gets less surprising.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is certainly a welcome bit of advice.
Well, I commend you for facing it and keeping your feet, and for not fleeing. You'd be amazed how many men 3 times your height aren't able to do as much. You are fine warrior, and I am very glad that you are with my daughter, Master Hobbit.
I blush at that. I say, just to kind of like close up the conversation, I say, I kind of take a deep breath, steel my little hobbit heart, and I say,
would you just enjoy looking at the stars with me? A few more moments longer.
She pulls out another flask and
Your mom
kind of
knows what's
clinks flask.
oh yeah, I'll clink, and then I'll.
She just doesn't even say anything. You just like, she nods because she
Yeah.
gets that, like, the silence and the companionship is what you need.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she just kind of like sighs and like leans back in the chair on the porch and just like looks up at the stars.
I'll sing a song about the constellations, the Hobbit constellations, like, you know, the feast of constellations in the sky.
Yeah, she's kind of tapping her foot, but like being a very still, comforting presence in a way that is clearly practiced. Like, this is not the first time she's talked someone through some sort of trauma like this, and she's got a knack for it. So, all right. It's a good moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're spending a week at this, so we're not going to go blow by blow, day by day, every little thing you do.
Oh, I don't know. This is kind of nice.
I know, I'm enjoying the heck out of this too.
I don't even know how many days have passed, but this
Yeah,
is like
like-
really awesome.
I
Yeah.
don't know what day it is anymore.
Yeah,
Right?
3 months later,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, wait a minute, we had something to do.
we're still role playing. Oh wait, there are mechanics.
Yeah,
to
there's
this game.
mechanics. To that end, I also think Aerlind just loses track of days, and like you have to remind him when meals are happening because he's fully face in book.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Runa has a habit of either bringing you food or like waving a hand in front of the page.
Yeah, and it's gotten
Food
more and more
time.
elaborate as the days have gone on. So it like was just like his books and a few books from the library, and then his books became like rolled out maps, and then it became like I think eventually he asked you for your drawings
Yeah, yeah.
and your rubbings of the room, and it just becomes this like war room of maps and notes
Yeah.
as much as he can fit in the room essentially.
At one point, you're going through the library and you find this, what looks almost like a journal, like a small, like something someone would have, like it'd probably fit in a small pouch. It's all handwritten, kind of scribbled. Some of it's songs, some of it's just like, some of it might even be shopping lists. Like, it's very just someone's little notebook that they wrote. And in there is a song about the mending of Middle Earth, and and like how like there'll be like a great battle, and then after that will be like the world will be purged of the darkness, and it's very vague in the way stories are, and but this is kind of the first. I mean, you've heard lots of stories before, that this is kind of the first one that's like, maybe more darkness is coming. Maybe the darkness hasn't been defeated. Like, it's very clearly laying out, like, this is all the stuff that's already happened, and this is coming still. And then, like, in the like handwritten next to it, not part of the song, there's the words dagger daggeroth, like just kind of scribbled in there, on the side. It's not canon. Sorry, this is one of the things that like it depends on if you're like the published version of the Silmarillion that Christopher Tolkien published or Tolkien's written
beautiful
one.
notes.
Yeah, the notes. Like which notes from what year are the canon ones? I like the story, so I'm keeping it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that actually drives him to stop. And takes out a separate piece of paper and a formal quill and ink and begins to write a letter home.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take him a while.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. So I want to make sure we get to the actual undertakings.
Yeah.
So, remind me again. You wanted the pondered story and figured maps,
And then the magical item.
Study magical
and the
items.
magical item. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say we definitely have checked off pondered story and figured maps a lot. I feel this is one of those things where you have a group project and one person does most of the work on the group project.
He's gathering all of the resources so that at night he can be like, everyone come in here.
Yes.
We need to all talk about this right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sharing the knowledge. For sure. So just so you know, until the next fellowship phase, you get to add +1 to your feat die rolls made on the journey events table.
Heck yeah.
Okay,
All
just
right.
the feat die, not the success die. Realize I've been looking down at my thing a lot. So yeah, just the feat die on the journey events table only, not on every feat die roll, just the journey events table. And that will end at our next fellowship phase. All right.
I think probably the next step would be to. Well, I'd probably ask Sausage to sketch the lure on a piece of paper.
I sketch it and then I just have the little lines radiating,
Yeah,
indicating that it's glowing.
And then I would write out like what I know of it, and that it's very much like pearlescent and all of that, and send a letter off to my brain just went blank. Our wizard friend,
Laren.
Laren.
Oh, thank you.
Wizard, not wizard.
Fortune teller.
Fortune teller.
Fortunate.
Not
Dog
all
owner.
wizard. Dog owner.
Yeah.
All dog owners are magical.
So I would pen the letter and send it off to Creek's Crossing,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay.
Because I like he tends to just know stuff and know things and know places and all that. So it's kind of the logical next step to ask.
Yeah. Now, just to clarify in the lore part of it, the fact that there are more, like, first off, wizards like existing as like Gandalf is a wizard, but like the truth of the wizards and really how much power they hold is something that is not common knowledge.
No.
So I'm just like clarifying for everyone and those of you watching at home. So while we call him a wizard because we as players know, like
Right.
there's no inkling, like you probably know that's like
Something's there.
yeah, like there are wizards in the world. There are people who they seem to not age the same. They look human, but they have magical powers a little bit. They are rumored to. Most people have never seen them. Again, they're very subtle. They're not like fireball, like that.
And this is in character entirely from a way that he's just a wise person.
No,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm
it's
just saying
not-
this to clarify. I
Yeah.
totally get where you're at.
Yeah.
So I'm not. This is not a correction. I apologize. I did not mean it to come off.
No.
as
No. I'm agreeing.
Yes.
Yes.
But the fact that there are 5 wizards, there are blue wizards, is something that like only the other wizards know.
Mm.
Like even the Galadriel and some of them might have been there when. Actually, the canon I'm using, they wouldn't have been there because the blue wizards arrived in the Second Age. Depending again which notes you read. So like the fact that the blue wizards exist are only things that Radagast, Saruman, and Gandalf would probably know.
And I probably only know that Saruman is a man of power because he's like political figure as well in the world.
Yeah, he's the most well known. He probably has at times at this point he is not like for those of us who've seen the movies and whatnot, he's not evil
No.
yet.
He's a good guy. He's my friend.
Yeah.
He's my boss's friend. He's
He's-
not my friend.
Yeah, he's on his way. Like, he's starting to get a little bit greedy and power hungry, but that's very much behind the scenes. He's still, like, in good standing. He's not, started doing the whole orc corruption thing. Yeah. And Gandalf is very well known around these parts specifically. Mostly for, it's like, kind of like fireworks and like sort of showmanship type things like that. They call him like a wizard, but like whether he has a whole bunch of power or not, like, is very sus.
He gets trained to be a magician.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
exactly. Like, he's more like a conjurer of cheap tricks. So, like,
Just see him standing on the top of the tower. Behold the metal ring! Clink, 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 clink.
exactly.
Everybody's like, what's he doing up there? I can't really see too well.
How do you get up there?
Very
Don't worry
tall.
about it. Yes.
Makes eagles flying far away. Yeah, so that's what it is. Like, the one real wizard of power is Saruman, that's kind of respected by the elves. Hobbits probably wouldn't even be aware, and such things. So those are kind of the only ones you know of. Radagast by this point is like,
Who?
flying around. Yeah. So not on task at all. And so those would kind of be what you'd know of wizards. So the fact that he's a wizard probably wouldn't be something that would cross your mind unless something happens in the story to like make it super clear.
Mhm.
You're probably very suspicious about everything he knows and how he shows up, but not in like a negative way. All right, just clarifying.
Got it.
Okay.
Other side.
I have a quick question, and I have a couple things to spend.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean if a creature has might 2 or more?
So the might is how strong it is.
Uh-huh.
It's how many wounds it can take.
Okay.
So most foes, like, you wound them, they're out. Like, for 101. Obviously, higher caliber large fish monsters have might 3, so you were gonna have to land 3 wounds to actually take it out. Until you got it down to like, it's also like the ending its endurance,
Got it.
which also was like 100, by the way. So good job.
Wow.
Oh.
I did not know that.
Yo.
That's why I had this long column of math on my
Yeah.
side of my sheet.
Yeah.
Where I just kept subtracting every time you took a little whack at it.
Oof.
So the might is kind of the shorthand
Okay.
mechanic way of knowing how tough a monster is.
Got it. So I think for I'm gonna up my wisdom.
Okay.
And take one of the Barding cultural virtues, which is Dragon Slayer. Because I feel like that makes sense narratively.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
she just finished fighting a huge creature.
Yeah.
So when you're fighting creatures with might 2 or more, all your attack rolls are favored.
Wow.
Yo.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Note to self: find more big monsters.
Yeah. Hello.
And I think, like, narratively, Runa will spend some time kind of fight training with
Mhm.
her mom and her grandmother, like, after telling them about this creature and how hard it was to fight. She is kind of like, the darkness is coming. We're gonna have to fight more things. I need to be more prepared and, like, put in some training time this week.
Nice.
And then the other thing, I'm gonna spend some skill points on upping my travel skill because we got some more experience in that, and we're gonna have to do it again.
Very good.
I think along the same lines,
Mhm.
I have probably spent a good portion of the week
Mhm.
going out with my axe to the various blacksmiths in town
Mhm.
and borrowing their sharpening stone
Okay.
because he was very upset at how ineffective it was.
Mm.
So I upped my valor, and I'm taking the keen ability to make it more likely to cause
Nice.
a piercing blow.
Excellent. Yeah, piercing bows are super key, and
Yes.
they're a
Mhm.
big deal.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I was very worried for a few minutes. I was like, oh, All right. Well, good thing this game is designed to have people die and then make new characters. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And one of the things I'd like to do, I want, actually, we talked about doing it next time, but I think I'm going to do it this time. Like, each of you had an item that was touched by the lady in Numinous.
Mm.
So I want to make that, because we haven't done a thing where you found a bunch of treasure.
Mm-hmm.
I felt weird. I didn't want you stealing stuff from Numinous. That felt icky.
Yeah.
And then like there wasn't really like taking a bunch of stuff after, like, while you were saving the lives
This
of
fish is full of
Mm.
treasure.
Right, yeah.
yeah, it's
Been
also
eating
like,
stuff all these
hold
years.
on, I know you're dying. You need to get back to camp. Let's load our treasure. Hold on.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna paddle this treasure back, and then we'll come back with other boats to pick you up.
Yeah.
right.
Love.
There are the other boats there. We got the boats around.
So what we're gonna have you do is, like, her blessing is actually gonna give some special properties to your items.
Oh.
So enchanted objects. Roll a success die twice to select first a skill group from the blessings table and then the affected skill. If the object is a wondrous item, roll again to discover its second blessing. So we're gonna have them just be blessed items, so we're not gonna have like super blessed. So you're gonna roll a success die once. And we can go around we'll just use one at a time because it's more interesting that way.
Okay.
All right, so roll your success die once.
All right. 3.
All right. So the skill group is 3, so it's going to be perception. So roll it again.
Okay. 2.
2. So it's going to give you awareness.
Oh.
The bear gain. Oh wait. Capabilities may not be readily apparent upon the discovery. Oh, so yeah, we're supposed to do this. Study magical items undertaking during the fellowship
Yeah, we're doing
phase. So
that.
that's
We're
what
doing
doing.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
This will be part of what we're doing, and I'll let you do the item that was touched and also the lure. ball
Okay.
thing. Okay.
So- Awareness.
yes. Give me a moment, and I'll tell
Okay.
you what that does. Just remember awareness.
Awareness.
Okay.
All right. You gonna read or you want me to roll?
Roll the first one.
Okay. 2.
2. So it's going to be a movement thing.
Okay. 5.
So stealth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Haha. I'm very stealthy already.
And what did she touch of yours?
The case of the Astrolabe. So something that is always on him.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
And now it's birds. So hey, movement. good.
4.
Mhm.
4.
Mhm.
So that is survival.
Oh, excellent. And 3.
3, healing.
Oh, all right.
Aw.
All right, and Hannar.
4
4. So that's survival.
and 3.
Healing also.
All right.
Let me roll the second one again, so we get different stuff.
Okay, that's fine. I feel like it's sort of like poetic though. That
If
the
it makes
two who
sense.
almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean,
She-
that's fine. That's
okay.
fine.
I feel like I want to stay the same
Cool.
because I feel like that makes sense that the lady like maybe had some sort of knowledge that was going to be
Mhm.
something where you both
Mhm.
were grievously
That
injured.
is
Oh,
that is
sure.
100% fair. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What did she?
My
what part did she
torch.
touch? Your torch. Oh,
Oh,
right,
nice.
right.
When you were like
yeah.
running away in the dream, and
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
what does it grant us?
So let's see. I will tell you that in a little while.
Great.
As soon as I find that information. I just found the table of what you roll when you get to see what your treasures have.
Oh, I should roll again for the lure thing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I hold off on that one.
Okay.
I want to make sure is tied in with a few other things real quick, so I just want to make sure everything's set. But we're gonna say that during the fellowship phase you studied it, and then we'll open up in the next
Sure.
next session with like the knowledge of what happens with it. All right.
In all of the map studying, I've also improved a point of travel.
Excellent.
I've, Again, it's all the same thought.
Perfect. Working so hard at that. Very
I
nice.
improved my travel as well, just from all the travel in this case.
Excellent.
This place is new.
Very good. Okay. Very nice. So you've done this. We can say you were going to do 2 weeks. Is
Mm-hmm.
there anything else? We're just going to kind of have a little bit of a montage of like you living your lives in Bree, you having more quiet moments, on the porch with Valdis, starting to maybe feel a little bit better, and your like wounds are healing. The bruises are going to take a while to go away all the way, but like they're definitely fading, and it's not as fresh on your mind anymore. What else? What is something? That one's very obvious. If there's something else you want to kind of go over, but I'd like for everyone else to kind of share something that they're kind of grappling with. That's sort of is not healed, but at least comforted by being here with your fellowship.
I think our next band practice, I probably pull out the other helmet and I just put it on Sausage's head. And I go, there you go. Now we have a matching helmets.
Was it like made for his size?
Yeah,
I got a pretty big head.
Okay. What did you have? What design did you have put on them? It's obviously not like intricate or beautifully ornate,
right.
but like, did you have something put on there?
I don't know how to do this. I have an idea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it out there. Maybe input. I want it to look like the sort of base it on the rubbing of the islands,
Oh.
right? Like the lake and the
Okay.
like that kind of across the forehead sort of thing.
I have an idea. So we're gonna do something. It's gonna be a little bit geometric because you're a dwarf, and
Yeah,
it seems
that's probably what I
yeah.
would do.
So we'll do, except like this will actually be geometric, not how I draw it, like with straight lines. There will be straight lines
sure.
in your design, even though my drawing does not have straight lines. It'll be like a shiny thing. For those of you who can't see it, I'm really glad that you can't see it.
That's beautiful.
But it's like, so this is kind of what I have in mind, where it's like,
Oh yeah, the 5 eye.
The
Yeah,
islands.
okay, I like that.
Oh, I
like that. So
the
like-
tower in the
That's
middle.
cool.
yeah, there's like people who look at it would just look like it's like a kind of a diamond shape in the middle, and then there's small like triangle shapes around there, and the same positions of the islands. And then there's like a texture beneath that sort of gives the impression of water. It's not like beautifully carved water, but
Sure,
it's kind of hammered in a way that it kind of ripples a little bit, like water on there.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, so you can see that without screwing up the camera too much. But yeah, so that's kind of like, is it right in the front?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's sort of the big plate, right?
Okay.
Like right here, sort of attaches the decoration to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, they're human helmets, so they're not going to be that great.
Yeah. And
It's-
most people
it's
will
a
be like, oh wow, that's nice. And like, but to you, both of you, there's like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a shared bond there between like
Yeah.
both of you, like being beaten by this.
Yeah, yeah.
Senseless
repeatedly
together.
smashed
Yeah.
by this
I,
fish.
I still feel like a little, pang of guilt inside. So when you pop it on my head, I kind of like throw my arms around you, and I linger there for a little bit, and then I run back inside. I take a piece of paper and I do like a rubbing of the pattern,
Oh.
and then I run over to where Aerlind is researching, and I like kind of slap it in front of you to add to your records and your notes.
Aw,
Incredible.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. I found the part of the notes. Bearer gains 2d when making rolls using the skill indicated by the enchanted object's blessing.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So it's a big blessing.
That's
Whoa,
huge.
Yeah.
2D?
Yeah, I am gonna let you re-roll though. Like I don't know. I feel like
Holy smokes.
no, poetically, like I love
That's fine.
narratively.
Yeah.
Like I get that it's not as useful, but I love the fact that
No.
the dice knew that the lady knew that you were both going to be really harmed and would need more skill and healing in the future.
Do we add that as pips?
Or is it like our magical item?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a magical item. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, so when you're
So-
rolling the skill and you have to have the item with you.
Okay.
So it's not a
Right.
permanent pip. It's like
If I'm separated from the torch, I get nothing.
exactly. Like, you don't have to necessarily be using it. I'm okay if it's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
you're not going to use your torch to heal people, but
Like,
yeah,
That's huge.
it's really big.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
roll 2 dice now.
I'm gonna be invisible.
Yeah,
I have 5 skill dice in stealth
What?
now.
Oh,
that's amazing. As long as you don't lose your pouch.
That's awesome.
Ooh, that'd be so
My-
amazing.
Astral opens in there, I would lose it.
Yeah.
Mine is
I would
my
be fine.
sword.
He would be insane.
Yes.
Yeah, if I get separated from my sword, Runa
Yes.
is.
The other
Not happy.
option, you may also spend a point of hope to achieve a magical success with that skill.
Oh.
Oh.
That's
my
the other option
goodness.
too. So you get to choose in between. You don't choose now forever, like as
Yeah.
you're using it. I
Okay.
believe.
That's cool.
I'll double check and make sure it's not like a permanent one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for now you get to choose between them. We'll just play it like that, and I'll look this up.
I love that.
Okay.
that's kind of like my broken spells
Yeah, that's
upgrade.
Yeah.
my
It
thing
works
too.
The same thing.
Sam, what did Runa name the sword again?
Spirit's touch.
Spirit's
so
Touch.
cool.
Yeah, I know.
I think narratively, because it gives me a bonus to awareness, can it do like ghostly whispers if like there's something that needs my notice?
Yeah. I love that. I didn't even think about that at the time because you're the one who first like noticed her and encountered her.
Yeah.
So she gave like awareness kind of was her blessing to you because you were already
That's
the
so
first to become
perfect.
aware. The dice sometimes are
Well,
magical.
And I like definitely was thinking about mine being like the fog kind of rolling in and like both because it's the birds. It's the inscription on the case is the birds that he kept on seeing in
yeah.
his dreams.
Uh-huh.
And so it's actually like the birds kind of becoming the fog around Innuminous.
That's amazing.
cool.
I love it.
Oh, God, I love this game so much.
It-
Okay.
Yeah, if in that case, I like one night when I'm getting ready for bed and I doff my leather shirt, I look at the pattern and I call the shirt the Heart of Anuminas.
Nice.
So,
Love
Yet
it.
another named item.
And we are going. Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. Did you? Yours was your torch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Do you want
don't-
to give a cool name to it? You don't have to. It's okay.
I need to think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Naming things is my great RPG weakness.
Also,
Mine will be in not English, which is why it's going to take
That'd
me a
be
bit.
great.
That's awesome.
we'll say that you think of your names, and then you will just tell us in retcon that you've said it the whole time when you're next session.
Also, the
Naturally.
whole week, Aerlind has been humming the song of Erendil and contemplating the story of, traveling in the north and all the hardships of some of these great heroes. But specifically, that one keeps on coming back and coming back with all the stories of darkness that are in it. But I think that the thing that gives him hope in it is he looks around and he sees pieces of the heroism that's in that story in the fellowship around him.
That's lovely. All right. Awesome. Fantastic. All right, so we can end our fellowship phase. You all obviously will open up at the end of our the fellowship phase. Well, and like you're leaving Bree will be how we open up our next session. So we'll end just a little bit early tonight. Anyone has any last moments they really want to get to or anything before? I mean, obviously, you can do them at the beginning of the next session, but I'd like to kind of jump in, journeying fairly quickly in the next session.
I think like, maybe the second week we start like going out into town, into like the Prancing Pony and any other places where people gather, and we just start telling people
Oh, yeah.
like our
Oh,
story.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And playing the song that we practiced.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
week.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have my leather shirt and I'll be like, if you look at these right here, these were touched by a spirit. Creepy almost.
Nice.
Oh, you asked for moments that like people felt like healed by being back in the city.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
For Runa, I think like that first meeting with the Dunedain, she was like had kind of like a little bit of an existential crisis. Like, oh my god, do people think I'm a thief because of what I do?
Sweet child.
And so like, but like kind of going through the process of like explaining to him like what her family does and like having a good reaction, and then coming back and like being in the archive and thinking about like in Numinous how much was lost, and just like seeing a civilization that is gone and like so little of it remains. She kind of feels like, no, like this is important. Like these things belong in a museum. Like we're preserving them. Like it doesn't matter if people see me that way. What we're doing is important. And it kind of like feels a little bit better about like her faith being shaken about being like a treasure hunter. Because it's not for greed. It's for helping people and for like making sure things survive.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. There's that like existential moment of like, oh no, am I like the dragon? Am I hoarding things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a deep thought for a barding to have of
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
That's deep. All right, I like it. Very good.
Also out of character, I am delighted at the idea of a random Dunedain showing up at your house.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And then your grandmother being like,
Hello?
Did she bring a boy home?
This like man that looks like he's cut from stone.
Yeah, the Rangers are known to frequent Bree.
Yeah.
Sure.
But coming and knocking on a particular person's door will probably
Yeah.
cause a little bit of a sensation.
The
She
whole
would,
neighborhood
like,
will
yeah.
talk.
She would like warn her mom and her
Yeah.
grandmother, like, I invited these people here. Somebody might show up.
Okay.
And they might be discreet about it, right? Like they might show up kind of like,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they're not showing up in a parade. Like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers don't do anything like a parade.
yeah.
No.
All right. Hannar?
Hmm. No, I don't think.
Okay.
I think he's sort of strangely ready to deal with darkness stuff. I think going into it, I don't know if he knew how he would react to it, but now he's like, it's just something that we can fight. Like I, you hear tales of monstrous things, and you wonder how whoever just figured out how to fight something like that. But then you just have to do it, and now that kind of clicks and makes sense. So I think he's prepared to go out and do it again. I don't know if that's like a hardening of his heart. It might be. It might be that he's sort of steeled himself that, well, if this is the way life is going to be, this is the way life is going to have to be, because that's what we need to do. That kind of a thing.
Okay. And what's happening with the lure with the crystal? Like what's your focus with that? How are you feeling about it? Is it something that brings you courage because it's a symbol of what your success? Is it something that's like nagging at you?
I think it bothers him that he hasn't figured out what he can do with it yet. So that's definitely going to be his focus for a while.
Okay.
Is I want to make this into something useful, which is weird for him because he's not good at making stuff. But like,
Yeah.
it's sort of the thing. It's you found this amazing thing. Let's do something great with it. More that I know this is a little heretical, but more than just putting it in a throne for people to look at.
Yeah.
He was
Like
hit with inspiration.
yes, yeah, literally yes. So it may be a thing that's something he starts to try and work on making something out of himself. We'll see.
All right.
I do think kind of a similar point to where you were going with Hannar's heart hardening a little, as much as he's finding hope in the fellowship and being among the people of Bree. I think actually the sad realization is beginning to kind of gnaw at Aerlind, that the reason he left to walk the world was because in his gut he felt like something was coming, that there was something worth staying for. And this is adding to that conviction in a way that I think is maybe even poisoning him a bit against the idea of his people leaving. Because as much as it is a sacred calling, and he's sat next to Círdan his entire life and, adored him, and he believes him that that it's time for some people to go. But he refuses, I think, at this point to believe that everyone should go. And I think it's actually wonderful that he's finding hope in the people around him, but I think it's actually making him even more reluctant to see this as the twilight of the elves, and that it shouldn't be, and that maybe the sun will rise again, and that it'll just be daytime again, and we won't have to go.
Oh, y'all are so heartbreaking. I love you all. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and end the session there. Next session, we're gonna start with the lure crystal. I'll
Gotcha.
come up with a better name, or we'll come up with a better name for it.
Sure.
Something to phrase it. So we're gonna start with that and what it does. I'd also like to start next session finding out what was in the letter that
Yes,
you
I'm
wrote.
going to write it.
Okay.
My big note right here
Yes,
with big underline.
perfect. So I'd like you to actually read it if you
I would
you
love
will be
to.
willing to. Okay, that would be fantastic. And then we will decide where our adventure is going next.
Yeah.
So awesome. Oh, that was so good and so intense. I can't believe we waited so long to have a fellowship night. I mean, we kind of have, but
Yeah.
we did all the same things. But thank you all for those amazing moments. That was really, really nice. Thank you also for joining us for session 7 of the Unsung Tales. I'd like to thank our chat mods for their super hard work. And thank you to our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. It's because of you that we are able to play games that we enjoy without worrying about publishing companies and a bunch of sponsors and subscribers and all that stuff. We can just play games the way we want to and spend an entire session drinking quietly on the porch together. Which is so great. And you can join their heroic ranks at happyjacksrpg.org/Patreon. Let's go ahead and go around the table. Let's start with Dave this time.
Nah. Hi. I'm very excited to tell you all that I am yet another step closer to being back on the streaming, and getting back into starting up that Dave the Diver game. I got a chance to play it a little bit since we last spoke, so I'm at least vaguely familiar with what I'm supposed to do with the game, because I don't like being that guy that I thought, like, maybe I'll just go into it cold on the stream for the first time, never having played it before, and then I couldn't do that. I can't be that guy. So I played just a little bit, and now I want to get into start a new game, play it fresh, and we'll get into it. I'm hoping later this week I'll have time to do that. My son came home from school today and told me there's 3 different events this week that they didn't tell you about. So that changes the schedule a little bit, but I'll figure it out. But there's still some more days, so that's my hope. Oh, and you can find me at CA Sith Lord on most things, all of the gaming platforms and all of the social platforms. Yeah, that's me.
All right. Howdy, everybody. I'm Jay, and I played Sausage. And my plans for releasing my latest D&D adventure kind of got derailed when I learned about Fishblade Jam on itch.io. 24 submissions so far. I'm hoping to add mine to that list. So I'm working on a game called High Tider, the Fissioning, which is a bunch of fish that, have to slay each other until, there will be only one.
Oh my god.
Incredible.
Yeah. Working
I
on
just got it.
working on a new RPG system that is based on D4 is called the Caltrop engine. I'm very excited
Aw.
to bring this hopefully to itch by the deadline of Fishblade Jam 2023. You can find me on Instagram at Transplantation and everywhere else in social media at JAfrica. And Dungeon 23, Fishblade Jam, plus all the other stuff. I'm going to pass out someday soon. But I'll be here for our stream on Monday because it keeps me going.
I will say that Dungeon 23 stuff is 300. What?
Yeah,
The dungeon
yes.
with the numbers. I don't do numbers today, apparently. It's really cool. You guys should really check it out.
It's awesome. Yeah, people are doing some really, really
I
spectacular
love
work.
what you're doing. I'm having a good
It's
time with
yeah,
it.
thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Kai. I've been Aerlind. You can find me on all social media platforms as Estelle of Imladris. You can find me here in a week, eager and very excited for more. Oh my gosh. But you can also find me before then on Saturday on Matihi, playing 5e, our pirate adventure, What We Do in the Shallows, where I play a horrible sea elf druid who's mostly just an octopus all the time. And then on Sunday, we dropped the second episode from the lore brewery of our fairy tale 5e adventure, Far, Far Away, where we're about to enter combat for the first time in that, and it's going to be very...
Yeah.
It's bracing. I'll put it that way. It's bracing.
Bracing.
Yeah, so and then I'll be here. Maybe almost crying again. And loving every second of it.
Oh, so much almost crying in this game.
Yep, love it so much.
Yes, so good.
Yep.
And I'm Sam. I have been Runa of Bree, your treasure hunter who really hopes people don't think she's a thief. Sweet baby angel did not think that was a possibility. It didn't occur to her. You can find me on the internet at Red Pandroid on pretty much all of the socials. Mostly right now on TikTok, where I make very stupid videos. So if you want to see something dumb, go look at them.
It's actually a really good spelling pick.
Thank you.
I mean,
That's mostly what TikTok is. And I'm Kimi. I've been your Loremaster for this game. You can find my games at goldenlassogames.com. And I'm going to be at Strategicon coming up February 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. I probably will be on there some of those days. If you want a copy of Decima, I will have a small number of actual decks with me. So, yeah. The rest are showing up in like 4 weeks. And any other big news? You can find me at Golden Lasso Girl on all social medias. I'm starting a new game actually this coming week. On Sunday, I will be playing as a player a short campaign of Demigods by a very good friend of the pod, Jason Mills. And I'm very excited. I got to play in like all the flagship and like the first games of that through its whole process. And the PDF is finally coming out. The Kickstarter, the books are going to come out fairly soon. It's just very exciting to be playing with like the finished product after all these years of development.
Mhm.
So it's very exciting. And that will be at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Yes. Look at the schedule. Hashtag. No, not hashtag. Sorry. happyjacks.org /schedule. There. That's what it is.
Hashtag figure it
We're
out.
doing real good.
Hashtag I'm really tired.
Oh.
Also, the whole Isengard beer thing. I just my brain immediately went on this roller coaster of imagining Saruman doing commercials and like
Standing very seriously.
bring me the hops worthy, and just like reaching out with the claw hand and like pulling the bottle of beer over and taking
Yeah.
a big it'd be so good. I
The
would
behind the scenes documentary
Sometimes when
is
you're
taking the hops to
Look,
Isengard.
look to the plant here. You've never seen beer this good.
When you're conquering Middle Earth, sometimes you just need a good
Oh,
I think we should probably
Yes.
go.
That's why he's cutting down all the trees
Oh.
just to keep the brewery going. It's a whole thing. Oh man.
oh my
You know,
goodness.
it'd be awesome if like they did the fly. You know how they do the fly through of the breeding
Oh,
pits.
yeah,
where
yeah,
Oh
they-
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you kind of in a corner. There's like a little tub full of beer being brewed.
Oh yeah. No, it's like a full-on
Oh,
giant
sure,
commercial
yeah, yeah,
brewery
yeah.
down there. Like,
That's what the Urukai are actually doing.
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, guys.
Incredible.
Amazing. All right. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.